Shalom, Prophet. Apologize about the lateness. I'm glad you're here. Good to see you. good to see you, Prophet. You know, hope all is well. Hope your mom's doing good. It's a beautiful day out there. I hope everybody's just sitting outside, enjoying getting some, some of the sun, the DNA, the vitamin D that we need. I know I'm very late coming on today. So I apologize. I apologize for that. And you can hear me nice and clear. Just give me a thumbs up, Prophet, if you can, or whoever else is on. I was having problems all day getting on Facebook. I couldn't get on from this morning. I couldn't get on lives. People were putting lessons out, and all right, I saw the heart pop up, and somebody said that Toda Thadawa. That means thank you. For some reason, I couldn't get on, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I said today's gonna be, one of those days that I was trying to. All right, that's good. Praise to the Most High. Then I was trying to hit and clear, the message. I'm restarting my phone. I said, look, is my app off and everything like that? Maybe there needs to be an update, that has to happen. And but I see we're all clear, and you can hear me. You can hear me well, so that's good. So I pray that everybody is having a Barak Yom day, a blessed day. Hey, shalom, brother. Prophet Jason, this a brother Ray here, brother Best. That's his last name, Best, brother Best. I met him today, Prophet. Today, my daughter earlier, she had a birthday party, and this is more reason why I was running late too as well. And I went and took my daughter there. I was hey, Prophet Jason, I was like, look, now I'm going to stay home. I can't go out to the party. Prophet, you know how we be. We know how we be. Brother Best, Prophet Jason's on here, and already tell you. And I guess the Most High was like, go ahead and go. And I ran into my brother Ray here. How I ran into him, Prophet Jason. He was sitting there. He had his nice hoodie on, had his fringes on, numbers 15. I was just like, and we just started talking. I said it was just we look at it as the angel Uriel. Now, we don't give angels, we don't pray to angels, but we give them the credit. So it was just a meeting of the mind where we met, and me and his brother were just sitting here just talking, and brother, I'd like to say shalom. And there'll be people logging in from Harim Shalamet and others that are going to come on in. Like I said, usually we're on at 4:07 every Shabbat. But I want to say Toda, that means thank you, Dadawa, for joining us on here today. But it was, it let me down this, let my mind start to think, Prophet, right, about, what we're facing today. A lot of things that a lot of us are going through, and a lot of situations we put ourselves back through is because we put ourselves in a situation. How like we always like to hear to say, the devil made me do it. No, the devil didn't make you do it. You did it. Claim it. That's why prayer means to what? Judge yourself, as we know. Prophet, let mom know that we're on. I know we're on kind of late, and people probably thought I wasn't coming on. I should have put a note out there on Facebook. But no, we did it. You did it. I did it. And we become our own worst enemies. And, as we're coming out of Pesach, it allows us to go back and review. And Passover, the Most High he's told us, he's given us a direction in Deuteronomy, right? So we might as well go ahead and start our parashit out with that. Let's go to Deuteronomy. I'm reading out the King James version. The G&T version for those who may not know. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4. Remember this, Yahweh, Yah, the Lord, and the Lord alone is our Elohim. He is our God. And you shall love the Lord, love Yah, with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. He says, never forget this. Never forget these commands that I'm giving you today. Teach them to your children. Repeat them when you are home and when you are away. When you are resting, when you are working. Then tie them what? On your arms, and wear them on your foreheads as a reminder. So write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. So he's telling us, right? Remember his commands, but he's going into us telling us that we are supposed to always remember what the Most High has come in store. And I was actually talking to Brother Best today because it came up. We were just talking about, we were talking about fringes and the meaning and the deeper meaning of getting into it. And the lesson kind of has to deal with, it's going to have to deal with it because the Most High opened up the door today. And we were just talking about a certain group of people where if we know that the Most High he gave Moshe a command for us to shalom Akuti, it's good to see you. Sister Sharon, he gave us a commandment to what? To wear our fringes. And this was a reason, because I ran into the brother, he had his fringes on, and it allowed us to speak. And we were just talking about situations that we were involved in where I remember, like, sometimes the first things people will automatically, I'm going to use a situation. He was giving me a situation, and I was there before, in a similar situation when there was a sister. She walked up to a group of so-called believers, and the first thing she said was shalom. And they were like, where are your fringes? Wait, hold on for a second. When we start to deal with that, there was no patience. It's almost like we have, and we understand the word, we understand the metaphysical, we understand the allegorical, we understand the fringes are in the heart. Matter of fact, let's just jump to that real quick. And this lesson isn't on it, but where the Most High told us, is it Numbers, Prophet Jason 15 verse 36? I just want to just use this as a segue for us to to go on in today's lessons, because 1537, Slaki. It says, listen, then Yahweh commanded Moses to say to the people of Israel, make tassels on the corners of your garments and put a blue cord on each tassel, right? So we can look at that and say, hey, listen, are we correctly wearing the right garment? Are we wearing the right tassel? But nevertheless, we know what we're doing. We know at this point in time what we're trying to do is righteous. It says, you are to do this for all the time to come. Yes, a commandment. The tassels will serve as what? Reminders. They're reminders for you, reminders for me to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. So I'm going to use this example, right? And I know Yaquab, you may come in earlier, or Brother Job, you may come in, later on. It's the reminder. So a lot of times the Most High is telling us, wear your fringes, wear your tassels, right, Sister Sharon? So where I can look down, he's telling you to remind myself not to sin. Because see, when our aura or our eye scope, our vision is seeing seeing sin all day long. So now it can become easier for us to what? Partake in those ways, partake in sin. So even in this case, and I'm not making an excuse, that maybe perhaps I didn't have my tassels on, but I looked at the next brother and next sister and I saw them and they were wearing them, and it kept me from doing what I was going to do. It was a reminder. And there are people, so getting to the point, there were some sisters, they said they walked up, they went to a certain group of people, they spoke, they said shalom. Those people looked back at them and they told them at that time, they were like, hey, listen, the first thing said, like, well, where's your tassels? Where your fringes at? Not, hey, we studied to show thyself approved to the Most High, or there was correction. It didn't seem like that happened, because there was a level of, what I'm getting in this lesson, a level of impatience, right? And sometimes when we're impatient with people, right, we lose the power of patience. Y'all get this? All right, I see mom's listening through the phone for now. Listen, send this out. I mean, people may come in late, but we need to ask the question. The Most High Yahweh, the Lord our God, he has what? Patience for us. All the foolishness, prophet, all the foolishness, whoever's on, I can't say this, say nobody's on, that we go through, or we do, or all the sin that we partake in, and the Most High still says patience with us, but yet we won't say patient with what? With other people or situations. And why? Sometimes you got to ask. Sometimes your prayer could just be, Most High, why are you so patient with us, but yet I have no patience for others? Check this, Sister Sharon. Why do you, have so much patience for me, but I have no patience for you, Yahweh? That one to hurt. Think about it. We want what we want when we want it, and we want it yesterday. We want it last year. And then we turn around, right? And we're being upset with the Most High because he's not giving us what we want, but are we giving him what he wants when he needs it? Power of patience. So as we're coming out of Pesach, right? Coming out of Pesach, we can see there was an issue here with patience, right? So as we were in Torah's Kingdom Study the other night, it made us think, with Aaron. We were talking about what made Aaron get so misled that he turned around and he started to say, yo, let's go ahead and let's take this gold and let's go make a golden calf. It was the peer pressure, right? It was trying to be liked. It was the lack of patience. Aaron did not have patience for Moses. He started thinking, did he go up? Is he dead? And he fell victim to the other people in their camp, their influence, and that influence of lack of patience. You ever see people, you make me lose my patience, or you ever been around impatient people and you become impatient? Parents, my mom used to be like, man, my patience like this thin. But why is it this thin? We have to learn to build ourselves up. So let me look at Exodus, right? So we're going to look at Exodus chapter 32. When the people saw that Moses was not coming down, they saw he was not coming down from the mountain. So what happens? People start yapping, they start chirping, and it starts getting into your ears. This is why our ear gates got to learn. Listen, inside your ears, and mom, you're on here, there's a filtration system that we have inside of our ears. It's supposed to protect our ears, sometimes from super loud noise, sometimes super low noise, low frequencies. We got to say, yo, let me get my ear gate together so I can either block out these high frequency sounds. I could block out these low frequency sounds that are causing vibrations and causing turmoil all around us, right? So I don't know what was going on with Aaron. We knew that he knew, but it says right here, I'm going to get into it. It said they stayed there a long time, and they gathered around Aaron and said to him, we do not know what has happened to this man Moses. You hear what they said? We don't know what happened to this man. So what did they do? They dropped their low frequency, they're impatient, they're no power of patience, right? Back into Moshe. Come on, brother. I know we were trying to talk about this if you're still on here today, right? It said that they dropped it, and they dropped their frequency into Aaron. Now, he should have been able to block everything out. He should have been able to say, but this is our problem. We listen to others. We say, hey, we're not Shema. Shema means to hear, right? But we're hearing the wrong things. It says, we do not know what has happened to this man Moshe, who led us out of Mitzrayim, out of Egypt. So what did they say? Make us a God to lead us. So what did he do? We're going to fast forward, right? Aaron said, take off the earrings which your wives, your son, the earrings which your wives, your son, and your daughters are wearing, and bring them to me. Now, we get back into the earrings part, and I always bring that up, right? Because I know there's some people out there, some brothers many years ago, I used to have my ears piece, and I understand why people still wear them. But that was a way of Egypt. It was a way that they brought out because they were still wearing, the males were still wearing, and they had customs of Egypt, right? So he says, bring them all to me. And all the people took off their gold earrings and brought them to Aaron. He took the earrings, melted them, poured the gold in the mold, and made a golden bull calf. So we know what happens, right? So then the people of Israel, right, said, this is now our God. He didn't have patience, right? 1 minute they're praising. Hey, shalom, brother, my brother, right? Tribe of Judah, Judea, right? 1 minute they had patience, the next minute they didn't. Why don't we have patience when the Most High Yah has patience with us every day? Am I living my life by all 10 words or 10 commandments or 613 commandments? No, right? I'm trying. The Most High says, listen, I'm giving you time to get it right. There was a point in time that he would be like, wait, you going to a birthday party? Boom, I'm going to strike you out. You kicked out of camp, right? You're not here. Yah has given us patience, but it comes to for forgiveness and asking the Most High to continue to lead us. But the thing is that we say 1 minute, right? We love you, we will honor you, but the next minute I'm grumbling in pain. I'm saying, okay, Most High, I've been asking you to deliver me, or I've been praying to you for this, And yet, then I get upset and get angry with him. We get angry with him because he doesn't move on what? Our time. He moves, and we understand. Some may say it's Zaman timing. Some may say Kairos time, but he moves on his time. He's going to move, and he wants us to what? Our whole goal in life is for us to what? Remain patient, right? Let's jump in this real quick. We all know the story. I'm just briefing into it. Hagar and Ishmael, right? This is where we really sit down and see that the problem that started to occur because the impatient of what? Of Abraham, right? So in Bereshit, Genesis 17, it says when Abram was 99 years old, Yahweh, the Lord Almighty, appeared to him and said, I am the Almighty God. Obey me and do what's right. I will make my covenant, my promise with you and what? Your descendants, right? So the Most High is telling him, listen, do the things that I ask you. If you do this right, this is the promise that I'm going to give you. But what was happening here where we see that sometimes when we're impatient kills people. The impatient, see, this is why God is trying to tell us, the Lord is trying to tell us, listen, I need you to be patient the same way I am patient with you. You get it? There were sins at one time in the Bible that if I committed today, we would have been taken out. All he's saying is, I want you to do right, but have patience by me. 1 minute, we're kind to others. The next minute, what? Come on, prophet. Next minute, what? We're running past somebody in need. I took the kids yesterday. We were in Philly, and they had the opportunity to see. They saw some of the so-called or some of the homeless people or people that suffer from mental health and people who were begging for money and people. Then she saw the impatientness. We were on the train, and there was somebody there. He was, first of all, I was upset because he was coughing the whole time. I said, gosh, I am a germ magnet when it comes to this, y'all. I don't know what it is. I'm like, all the people on the train, this guy has to sit next to me and he's coughing the whole time. So I'm impatient. I'm irritated. Like, dude, will you get off of the train, right? So we're riding on the train all the way to Philly. Of course, he gets off at the Claymont Wilmington exit. I said, gosh, he rode with me the whole time. The train didn't even stop. He jumped up and he's pulling. And to me, and I can say, he had a little badge on. It looked like he worked at Pennsylvania Hospital. He either worked there or he worked at Jefferson. He worked at somewhere downtown at a hospital. You could tell he had a badge on. Maybe he was a nurse. Maybe, I don't know what he was. But he's yanking on the door trying to get off the train. The train didn't even stop. We didn't even get to the location. No patience. So then it just was irritating me more, right? So I'm just using this for an example. It's a true life example of how my children were able to see, right, what the lack of patience can do. Now, this guy is trying to open up the train while the train's still moving at, 50 miles an hour. Imagine he got the door open. I got small children there. There's people on the train. We don't know what could have happened. I get it. I know people can open up the doors, but there's no patience there, right? So, we got to, and I use that also as an example because it segues in today's lesson. So back to Abraham back to Abraham. So Abraham, right, was upset, him and his wife, Sarah. The Most High said, listen, I'm going to give you children. They were impatient. They went out, they got Hagar, they brought in, which was their slave, and she allowed, or they agreed to allow her to have a child. Now, if we go back and we pause for a second, park and reverse. And I've been saying that word before this whole pause thing came out. Y'all got to go back and listen to the lesson 10 years ago. If we go back, this is where we start getting a difference between where the so-called Islamic faith came in and the Hebraic faith, the truth, the walk came in. Because once Ishmael was born, he was the progenitor of where you start dealing with religion, right? We know religion started back at Tower of Babel, but he was the progenitor of Islam. And this is where it caused the difference, because some people say, listen, this, your child that you had, right, which would have been Ishmael, then when the son of promise came, right, which we already know who that was, when he came, right, they're like, well, listen, this is not going to be your son because you all were impatient. You went and did something that the Most High didn't want you to do, or the promise should have been to the first heir, right? And I don't want to get into that and start really getting into that lesson, because I really want to stay point. But we saw that what happened. There was another seed, another nation that was further, when we go down the line, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and we saw that now this seed was coming out. So eventually we know Ishmael and Esau, right? They merged and they came together. And if you follow the lineages of the 12 princes, you can see how another religion was created. And that's really the argument when you start dealing with that, when you're trying to compare and contrast to a way of life and a religion. Who was right, who was wrong. But my point is this. 1 minute we say we're going to honor the Most High. We're going to honor God. I need you to heal me. He gave you your healing. And the next minute we forgot that he healed you, or he gave us the thing that we needed, because he wasn't moving at the speed that we wanted him to move on in another situation. We got to stay patient. It's a mess, right? Could we live with somebody who is constantly impatient? Some of us do. But can you live with yourself? If you're the one who is constantly impatient, man, I got no patience today. Why? We should have patience every day, right? The Most High tells us, listen, I need you to what? Patience, they say, is a gift. Is it? No, we should be born with patience, but we have to show it. And because I can tell there's some things about me that I look at my daughters and I say, oh, that's me. And some of it is like, okay, we will only, you always say, I can only be dealt with so much. And then this is the breaking point. And you can look at your children or your grandchildren or your family members and see, oh man, that's me right there. There's things that and I do believe we have to have a thin line or a breaking point. But some of our breaking point, we ain't even start running. We got a 100-yard football field. We are 10 yards in and we already snapping and going off and not having patience. So we understand that Yah doesn't just show us patience, right, Prophet? He is patient. The Lord is patient. God is patient. Elohim is patient. He is patient with us. He is patient with everything. I told you, I tell you to do these things, but yet it takes us years to get to it. He was patient with us, but yet we have no patience with him. So, let's look at this, right? So the word says that Yah, the Lord, is love, right? Let's go to 1 John 4:16. We're dealing with patience. Prophet, I know we were a little patient with cutting the lamb up, and I'm like, oh man, this lamb don't, going through that whole situation. There was times I'm cutting the lamb, I just want to go throw the lamb out because I'm like, but that's the frustration. Why do we get so frustrated so quickly? Hey, shalom, Prophet. Why do we get frustrated so fast? 1 John 4:16. It says, and we ourselves know and believe what? The love which Yah has for us. The love is that I know you have done, shalom, something wrong, something that I can just cast you out or put you in the pit, but I choose not to. Right? What does it say? I'm winking at your ignorance for a minute. Love is we're doing something wrong all these years before we understand who God is, who the Lord is, and he didn't take us out. Love is saying I'm going to be patient. So let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 1, right? Verse 13. So I'm just going to jump around today. It's a quick lesson. 1 Corinthians, and let's see what Rabbi Shaul, what Paul says. It says love, and love is ahava. So we know love in Hebrew is ahava, which is what? It's a noun, but it's a verb. It's an action. It's something you do, right? It says, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4. Love is patient. Love is kind. Are we patient and kind to each other? Are you patient to your brother? Are you patient to your sister? Are we patient and kind to our children? You know what time can really test your patience? Is when you get zero sleep or when you're sick. That will bring you call yourself, and I'm not being funny. I'm just telling you to challenge yourself. You call yourself, and there are some great patient people out there. I've seen them move. People tell me like with my profession and what I do, they're like, man, you are very patient. I don't know how you handle that. I don't know how you handle somebody cussing you out and spitting and different things they were doing, right? But the question is would I have been able to handle that same thing if I had 2 hours of sleep? Would I have been able to handle it when I'm sick? Remember, we are supposed to walk the same way all the time, right, Sister Sharon? But the time to challenge yourself is when you're tired, when you're sick, Because that's when your patient's your so-called patient prophet is what? Is very thin, right? So am I exhibiting the love? Am I exhibiting true patience? Are you exhibiting love? Are you exhibiting true patience, right? So it says, love is not jealous. Am I jealous? That's a whole next lesson. Or conceited or proud. Love is not ill-mannered. Ill-mannered is you walk up to somebody and you speak, you say shalom, or you say hello, and they disregard you. Or they challenge you from the very beginning. I was using that. All right, Prophet Jason. All right. I was using that example earlier from me and a brother we were talking about where things like that happen, where you walk on in and someone's challenging you right away. I see Prophet Jason says, I was in that state Friday afternoon and got tested. We will be. First of all, you know we're in Omer. So we're going to be tested. Omer is the time period, right, after Passover where, you know, our patience is being tested by Satan, by the world, right? So are we truly showing this? Let's go to Exodus 34, verse 6. I'm glad y'all on there. It's good to see. I got a couple troopers. Exodus 34, right? Sister Sharon says, yes, when things aren't going our way is when we're going through things. And that's how you really test your patience. When life just seems like, yo, man, I done fell off the wagon wheel. Remember, it's a testing. This is why the world, and I want y'all to understand revelation. It's not revelations. It's one revelation, right? When Christ says, he who endures to the end, everything we go through, I'm telling you, it's times that they say throw in the towel, throw in the hat, that we want to be done. I get it. But that's a testing period. It's almost it's like sometimes we say, man, we're just in Omer all year long, Sister Sharon, all year long. It just seems like that, right? But like you said, we're going through these things, but we have to endure. Exodus 34, and we'll start at 5. And Yah came down in a cloud and stood with him there and pronounced his holy name, right? I like how it says the Lord, right? It says, then Yah then passed in front of them and called out, I am Yahuwah, I am Yah, your God, who is full of, what did he say? Compassion. Come on, Brother Hars. And he says, I am full of what? It says it right here. Pity. Who is what? Not easily angered. So when we look at the word, Prophet Jason, if you go up the word anger, right? And I know we got Mara for bitterness. If you could look up anger, Prophet Jason, and throw it in there in the Hebrew. He's saying, I am not easily angered. All of this frustrating, all the words we try to use instead of, Prophet Jason, I don't know if you heard me, but if you could look up the word anger in Hebrew and put it in the chat. I know Mara is the bitterness, but he's saying, I am what? I am full of compassion and pity and not easily angered. Are we? He says, and who show great love and faithfulness. I'm showing you great love. I'm showing great faithfulness. I'm keeping my promise to you, right? So we're already seeing that Yahweh, Yah, the Lord our God, he's already telling us that he's love. He's saying, listen, I'm showing you pity. What did he say? Pity the fool. Verse 7 says, and I keep my promise for the thousands of generations, and forgave what? The evil, and forgave the sin, right? But I'm gonna get into it. But I will not fail to punish the children and grandchildren to the third and fourth generations for the sins of their parents. Yes, some of the things I was talking to the brother today that we do, some things that happen to us is things that were out of our hands. They were bound to happen because they were what? Based off of the generational curse that we didn't break. So now the generational curse came down, or now the repercussion came down from the sin of our forefathers, right? So let's jump to Romans chapter 15, right? Romans 15, and we're going to go to verse 5. Romans 15 and 5. It says, all right, we'll start at 4. Everything written in the scriptures was written to teach us. What did it say? Everything written in Torah, in the Bible, was what? Put here to what? Teach us. So we learn. But do you want to be taught? Do you want to learn? Do we? We have to ask ourselves that. We look in the mirror every single day, right? So ask yourself. Hey, shalom, shalom. Shalom, brother. It's good to see you. I hope everything's well out in the Midwest. We're talking about the power of patience, right? So, and right now I'm in Exodus 30. I'm in Romans chapter 8. So we're talking about, Romans chapter 15. Verse 7. What did I say? I lost my train of thought. Romans 15, verse 5, right? It says, but I'm reading from the beginning. For Christ, let me start on Romans 15, right? Verse 4. Everything written in the scriptures was written to teach us, in order that we might have hope through patience. Are we being patient, Brother James? My elder, are you having patience when you're trying to teach the Kwaha or teach your church as a deacon the truth, the emet? You're having patience. They're coming, brother. Take your time. It's not, if this was going to be easy, it would be easy. Keep digging. Listen, you put your hand on the plow, brother. I see you out there. You got to, so they come through. We may not think that they're listening or they're watching, but they are. Keep your hand on the plow, Prophet Jason. Tell them, keep your hand moving. Keep going forward. You're having patience. It's the little nuggets that you drop, right? So it says, instead, we should all please everything is written in scriptures was written to teach us. Let me slow down. In order that we might have hope through patience and encouragement, which the scripture gives us. Here we go. And may the Lord, the source of patience. Sister Sharon, you see that? Thank you, Prophet Jason. I'm coming down there to it. It says what? May Yah, the Lord, the source of patience. So when we don't have patience, what spirit are we being led by? Somebody put it in the chat. When we don't have patience, what are we being led by? It says that the Lord our God, that Yahweh God is what? The source of patience and encouragement. Enabling, right? For you to have the same point of view amongst yourselves by following the example of Yeshua HaMashiach. It says it right here. Following the example of Christ. Did Yeshua Christ not have patience? All right, Prophet Jason put in anger. Where'd it go? So it's out of the Strong's, right? Strong's 639, a masculine 9. Listen, definition, a nostril, a nose, a face, anger. See, it's good. Like, you know, you ever have somebody, they talk another language and they can talk around you. You're around each other, you can be like, and we know what you're talking about, that nostril. So they knew. Listen, Lord, forgive me. We're starting to see through DNA and through the truth, right? And I just got to pull this one out. It says the nostril, right? So, you know, so-called, we use this, so-called Black and Latino people, when you get upset, you get mad, what do you usually have? You see your nostrils flare out, your nose get big. You know, they used to make fun of our shape of our noses, right? So it's already telling you that your nose and your face shows the anger. It says your nostril was what? The very beginning of your anger, your breath, right? And I know I'm just trying to be, funny here. Yes, press hard towards the mark, right? The calling of the end. That's right, Prophet. That's right. So you're moving in that seat, but Yah's trying to tell you at this time also to stay patient with what? Stay patient with his sheep. Remember, there's a shepherd, and he's trying to say, sometimes I need you to use that hook and just wheel him back. Come back on in. Come back in. I'm going to push you on back out. Back in, right? So it says, but may Yah, the source of patient encouragement, enable you to have the same point of view amongst yourself by following an example of Christ Yeshua. He was patient. He was patient for what? All of the people. He was patient from what? Even the ones who said that they loved him and they weren't there for him. Even for the ones that said, I'll be there with you when they took him up and put him on a stake. Where were they? Even for the ones who said, listen, I will never what? Leave you. But where were they? Patience. 2 Peter. Thank you, brother. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 8. Told y'all, it's a quick lesson right here. 3 verse 8, Sister Sharon, check this out. Because the patience is in this time, in this Omer time. Brother Ambler, he was just talking about it. We're coming out of Passover, and this is the stuff that we're going to deal with, right? So, to conclude, you must what? All have what? The same attitude and same feeling to what? One another. Share this, y'all. Make it, let it go out. Do we have the same feeling to one another? Because the feeling I have for you, my brother out in the Midwest, should be the same feeling I have for my sister that's down in Georgia, down to my other sisters in Texas, down to my brothers in California, or down to the people that I live with and I walk with. Because that, what? We should be a walking, living reflection of who? The Most High. When we look up and look at the water, the sky, that is his reflect. We should what? Reflect and see our... Y'all, I'm telling y'all, he's telling us. But do we have this? Are we walking that way, Prophet Jason? You just said we're going to be tested. We're going to be tested. And we understand that people will test us to what? See if what? You're calling, or what? If you're set apart, or what? If your ways are his ways. See, I told you he was no better. I know I got him to go off. I got her to snap. Right? So it says, you must have what? The same attitude to love one another. Love. If love is patience, am I showing you patience? Are we being loved? It says what? And be kind and humble to one another. And I know this is hard. Do not pay back evil with evil. Do not pay back with evil, or cursing with cursing. Instead, pay back with what? A blessing. A blessing. That's why Yeshua said, bless those who curse you. Because if I send you a blessing, it's going to come back. Y'all see this? If I send you a curse, it's going to come back. Am I right or am I wrong? I know it's tight here. I know it's us couple in the house, but it's the truth, right? It says right here, as the scripture says, if you want to enjoy life, this is what he's telling us, and wish to see the good times, you must keep from speaking evil and stop telling lies. So when we get upset, we get what? Evil. So this is one of the most ignored fruits of the spirit, and we forget about it. It goes in one ear out the other. Is there power in patience? There's power in patience. This is why, prophet, listen. Why do you think we get tested? Some of the people who are really learning to walk the way of the Most High and learning, and we get tested in that patience area. That's what the enemy is doing, Prophet Jason, right? The enemy doesn't want you or me or us to embrace patience. They want me to say, okay, I'm impatient. Hey, nobody wants to eat this scroll. Boop. Who wins? They want to say, hey, he wants to just have his way and win all the time. It goes back to, we can use example. How many of us hate waiting in line in stores, right? How many times do we see a long line, we turn around and we just walk out? Well, how do I know that me being that line, waiting behind someone and speaking wasn't what? All right, Sister Sharon, you know how we met? You know how we met. In a store, in a line, coming out. If one of us was impatient that day, we would have never met. I would have never met your sister. Prophet and elder would have never met you. Yes. Listen. Ma'ak, Brother Best said, having patience will humble you. It will. But why don't we like to be humble? Because we know why? We like to know everything. We don't like to have to what? Obtain wisdom. Wisdom comes from what? Going through situations. A lot of times, and it's yes, if we can all wake up, and I woke up with a King Solomon swagger, man, I would love it. Never have to go everything, but think about everything King Shiloh Solomon went through, Brother Best. Everything he went through. And at the end of the day, he had to what? He got humbled because he had to learn patience. Hey, you didn't know everything. You defiled my temple. You did all these different things, right? So how many times do we see, like I said, a long line? I would have walked out on Sister Sharon. I would have never met her. I would have never met brothers and sisters and people in the assemblies and we would not have been able to come together because I didn't have that patience, right? We turn around. We hate waiting when we go to the doctor's office, right? Right? We hate waiting when we go see. But you know what's funny? No. We'll wait, right, Prophet Jason, to go see our doctor. We'll wait to go to a barbershop. We'll wait to get our nails done. Not us, women. We'll wait to hey, Mom. We'll wait. Shalom, Mama. It's good to see you. We'll wait for all the things we want, but we won't wait for the word of the Most High Yah. Why is that? Why? Because, as brother said, we're really not humble. Because humbleness will give you what? It will ground you. Being humble is being lowly. It's here, not high and mighty, right? We got to learn to be patient, Mom, in what? An impatient world. This is what's happening all around us. It's impatient. It's a spirit realm going around. What's Doc at? Is Doc on today? It's the things that's going around us that we can't see, right? Yah, he watched us before salvation, right? And we are working to be saved. So that's one thing that we're learning. The truth is, he who endures to the end. We are working to be saved, right? I know there's a doctrine, once saved, always saved. Listen, you are working to the, so that means that once saved, always saved. I can go out here and go do all kind of evil, ill things to people and just be like, all right, yo, I'm good. I know it's hard for us. Everybody ain't making it up there. I know it's hard. But the Most High watched us as what? I was cheating, as I was stealing, and as I was lying, and I was killing, and I was, remember, I may not have physically killed somebody, but your actions killed them. Your actions killed the spirit in them. We can easily mislead somebody because I didn't have patience, so I cursed this brother out in line. That brother, if he had just learned patience and learned who I was, he could have learned who what the Most High was. Now we're sitting before the Most High in judgment, Mom, on thou shalt not kill. I never killed nobody. Yes, you did. Yo, we got to get it right, y'all. We have to. Come on, brother James, thank you. I appreciate it, right? He watched us as we were in sin. He watched us and had patience with us and didn't take us out. He didn't say, yeah, he didn't, and it's oftentimes that we obtain gifts later on. So the Most High said, listen, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to allow you to go through these things, right? And, you know, and sometimes he rewards us even from the stuff that we do. I mean, even when we're in sin. It's because he loves us and he has patience, right? He cares for what? And he cares for the ones he loves. So if we show him a reflection that we love him, we bound to get it back. We want people to love us and care for us, right? What's the first thing we do? Y'all know I'm big on this. Honor, loyalty, and respect. They're like my 3 keys, man. And it all goes back to Torah. You must be honorable. You must show loyalty. You must show respect. This is what Most High, what Yah wants us. But we keep on just settling for anything. He's patient. He's patient. So he's saying, check this out. I have mercy on you. That's what mercy is, right? Oh man, he's saying, I'm giving you mercy. So I'm giving you time to what? Restore yourself. Restore means return back to who I am. Yes, his mercy covered us. Yes, Deacon, his mercy covered us. He can't, his mercy, the mercy seat, the mercy of saying, I could have just, what did he say in the beginning? Moses, I'm tired of him. I'm going to destroy him. Boom. No. So we got to learn to what? Be patient. And that means, in the Hebrew is prophet is kwa. And it means what? To wait. No, kawah. Qawah. It means to wait. To what? To what? To expect. I'm waiting for what? I'm waiting to see the start, right? I'm waiting to see, or waiting to see the ending of my suffering and the start of the renewal. Renew thyself. Passover, renew, get rid of the leaven that's in us. You know, we look at these different things and we look at the world and the life, and like I said, it's cool being able to just pick up the phone, boom, boom, pick a scripture. But is that patience? Patience is saying, I need to comb through and read it. Patience is, see, we have been in what's the word Pop used to use, Prophet? A microwave world where we want everything now. We want everything right. We want everything yesterday. Right? I want my children to line up yesterday. I do. My patience with them is like, y'all, what do y'all do? Yo, I want y'all, I was showing them when we were in Philly. And I can have them come upstairs. I said, listen, you see all these, look at all these little Muslim girls, these followers of Islam, right? When you look at the word and start learning, that means a submitter of God. When you see somebody says they're Muslim, that means submitter of God. So that's their Elohim. I said, but look, they had their head wraps on, they had their guards. I said, look how pretty in the face, how they look. Not talking about the spirit. I said, the world wants you to believe that being set apart and sometimes different. Sister Sharon, I always see you. We're back on the attire. I started out about Numbers chapter 15, 36 or 37, right? And I was telling him, I said, look, there's nothing wrong with having your head and having a cover and not having to have, the pants and stuff and exposed and stuff like that. So I get it. I understand the patience. I want it yesterday, right? But sometimes we want to rush people to where we are. We want to rush them, right? And I get it. After a couple of years of y'all walking in the faith, after a couple of years, brother, of you speaking the truth to your family, to your wife, to your sister, to your children, there's a certain point in time that it's like, okay. Because remember, even Yeshua said it. He said, I can't do any works here. He said, these people here, he said, I got to dust my feet off. And he said, I got to leave. He said, as a prophet without honor in his own home, I understand it. And sometimes that's why you got to go elsewhere. But we still got to have patience sometimes because Yah, the Most High, Sister Sharon, Mom waited for us, right? You waited for, I'm just using for example, you waited for Prophet to learn how to walk, right? You didn't just sit there and just throw him on out because he can't walk. Because he can't walk. He started somewhere. Yes, 2 Timothy 2:15. And I said, study to show thyself approved to Yah. I'm proving it to him. And sometimes that has to deal with patience. Patience. Think about it. Yeshua gave his life. He had to be patient for a time of death. Patient knowing that this thing was coming. Patient not to just get up off of that tree like, I'm not sending angels, Malaks down here. I always say this, I'm Superman beaming you. Boom, 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 boom. He had to be patient to say, listen, I'm going to give this stuff up, but we can't be patient, right? We don't learn how to wait, and it starts to put what? When we don't learn how to wait, it puts what? The weight on us. It puts what? The weight of negative things, negative consequences. We saw with Ishmael, we saw with Hagar, we saw with Abraham, we saw with Isaac. Now we saw with Jacob. It put the weight back on. It put the weight of what? The gold and the golden calf represented a weighted thing. So that weight, when they said we can't wait no longer for Moses, they're saying we can't wait for the Most High. So that same golden weight that came down on them was what? What was humbling them, what was holding them down throughout their whole walk. I'm gonna do a lesson on the weight in gold, right? So the weight of negative things cause what? Stress. It causes pressure. Remember, get rid of the weight. Paul tried to tell us that. We used to think, oh man, these ain't weights. It is. It's a sludge that everybody else can see. We can't see it. We're walking down the street and we think we're walking and everybody just sees a trail of weight coming behind us. Trail of baggage. Stuff that we still holding from 2020. Stuff we holding from 1950. Stuff we holding from 1983. Stuff we holding from 2010. Stuff we're holding from 2019. Listen, it became the weight. That weight needs to become light. That same weight that the Most High the same weight that the Most High is allowed to put on your life should be what? The weight that elevates you. Gravity holds things down. We're weightless beings. Our spirit man should go up. And listen. Patience allows us to live what? Healthier. One thing, Mom, you taught me was when I noticed it. When my ear starts that ringing, I could tell it's stress. I could tell it's times where I'm impatient. And literally, I can be aggravated and annoyed, and like an hour later, it kind of just diminishes. You told me that. You think I would have got that right? How many years ago? A decade, right? But I know that it has more to that. But anger and stress will ruin our lives, right? Let me put an example, and I'm gonna get back to the scriptures. I want y'all to see I'm not giving you all no scriptures. The anger that I have for listen, we can get so angry at the Most High, and it's terrible. Why did you make me go through this? Well, why not? I made you go through it because I knew you were going to be able to handle it. I knew you were going to be able to walk through the faith. I had to have this happen to you so I can get you and pull you into what? The way, the truth, the halak, the walk, so you can go down the direct, the road. Unfortunately, you had to go through this, but you are saving future generations. Brother Amber, yes, Mom. Brother Amber, you're saving future generations. The one to sit there and look like, this brother done lost his mind. No, I have found my mind. I let go of the weight of religion. We thought it was right. I'm sorry. People say, "Oh, you're just speaking against Christianity." Do you know the origins of what Christianity is? And you don't, as a spokesperson, you all are spokespeople. We're speaking what we speak, what I teach. I'm going to be judged for it. So I got to make sure it's right. I do my research. Prophet Jason knows. We study. We go to the Most High in prayer. But patience allows us to what? It allows us to, when you're patient, I'm going to use an example. So we're on a train, right? And it's this lady, she's just talking. We understand what she was battling, right? But patience allows when she's standing in front of me and she's going back and forth, walking and pacing. And I understood it was the ruach, my spirit in her. Because once she moved, if I call my kids up, Gabriella, if you're listening, come upstairs. Once they moved, I moved away, the lady just was like, super quiet, boom. But I understood what I was dealing with instead of saying, yo, this lady's a nut. Yo, if you don't get up out of here. But then I would have showed my kids no patience, right? I understand. Patience allows us to what? Make informed decisions. This is why the Bible says, don't let the sun go down on your wrath. But it tells us to what? To come to the throne of the Most High, prophet, right? Release that thing. Stop. Think. Dude, that's why it tells us Shema Israel. He tells us to pray minimum 3 times a day because you're judging yourself. You're being patient during that time. So you could what? Think. Make great decisions, right? We got to be patient with each other. We at this time that we patient with everybody else, but not each other. 1 Thessalonians, I'm almost done out your way. I got about 8 more scripts. 1 Thessalonians chapter 2. I know I was late getting on. Like I said, I apologize. And thank you for having patience to what? Log in later. And for those who may catch the refeed, thank you for coming back on. 1 Thessalonians 5:14. We urge you, friends, to warn the idle, encourage the timid, help the weak, and be patient. You see it? And be what? Patient with everyone. Sometimes we ain't even patient with our own self. That's the worst part. We got more patience for everybody else, but we ain't got patience for our own stupidity, our own dumb mistakes we make, the things that we have done. Is that right? Somebody give me a heads up. Tell me a like, a thumbs up. Let me know. Thumbs down. We ain't patient we're not patient with our own self. Why is that? 2 Timothy chapter 2. Why is that? 2:24. It says, as Yah's servant, so I'm talking to the ones that are learning the truth. You may not be on here teaching, right? You may not be in front of an assembly or in a camp or inside of a church teaching, but the minute you speak and learn his word, you become a spokesperson of him. Right, Mom? It says, put away foolish and ignorant arguments. I'm not going to argue with you over the dumb stuff. I was talking to the brother today. We can't come on one accord because we're arguing over what does this have to do with anything? I don't even want to pick what are we arguing for? Okay, brother, you're right. Let's get on. What must I do to endure to the end? This is what we should be doing. It says, but you know that they end up in quarrels. As Yah's servant, you must not what? Argue. You must be kind towards all and a good what? Patient teacher. I must be patient. You must be patient. You're patient to our children and to our grandchildren. Right, Mom? So you had a great event. You were out, but you show great patience to the children, to the grandchildren. And sometimes Prophet Jay, sometimes patience doesn't come till later on in life. We continue to what? Evolve. Especially when we're dealing with the thing that plagued us, the thorn that was in our side. Right? Sister Sharon, Psalms 27:4. I have asked Yah for one thing, and one thing only do I want. Listen, to live in Yah's house all my life. So we say we want to live in his house. Your brother James, we want to live in his house, but are we going to go there with being impatient? To marvel there at his goodness. Well, what is his goodness? He just told us he was patient. He was great. Oh, excuse me, I'm at verse 4. To ask for what? His guidance. It takes patience for me to hear an answer. That's right, Mom. It will stretch you, and it goes a long way into the lives later. Right? In times of trouble, he will shelter me. Patience to get under his wings, his commands, his law, statutes, and commandments. He's having shown his patience. I need you to get under. I need you to follow. Patience. As a teacher, having patience. Right? It will keep me safe in what? His temple. And his temple should be our temple. Right? Let me jump down to 14. I will trust in Yah, have faith, and do not despair to trust in Yahweh. Do not despair to trust in Yahweh. To trust. Have faith. Have patience. Most of us, like I said, we're suffering. We're back to Hagar. Or back to Abram. We're back to things that we rushed into without going to the Most High. We talk about it all the time. Should I go to Walmart? I was impatient. Went there, drove, got a stone that came through my windshield. I probably should not have went. I'm using it for example. Impatient. We end up being let down because what? The impatient that we have. We're impatient people. But why? My brother was talking about it earlier today. He went through trials and tribulations. But he had to what? He came into the truth. Or Yah opened up the door, right, Prophet Jason? Right? The dalet. The door opened up, and now he's walking in the dalet, and he's trying to be clothed in patience. He learned to say the Most High. Someone told the brother, read the book of Job. I'm just using it for an example, not getting into his personal story. But it's to what? Help us understand. It's true. My statement, you can't make this up. I couldn't make this up. I ran into this brother that couldn't make it up. He learned to have the patience of Job. That's what we have to do. Learn to exercise the patience and stop being impatient. Y'all got this? Y'all got it? Most High, empower my mind. Allow me to learn patience. Every step I take. Patience. Ephesians chapter 4. Prophet, Ephesians 4:2. I'm having patience for my prophet, and I know he's coming. Right? Right, Mom? Ephesians 4:2. Be always humble, gentle, what do you say? Impatient. Are we? We give sometimes humans more patience than we give the Most High. Show your love by being, it says tolerant. So I don't want y'all to say I'm switching the scripture, but tolerant and patient is pretty much the same word. By being patient, I'm gonna read it. It says tolerant one another, being patient with one another. Are you patient with me? You patient with me when I come on late? You're like, man, I got stuff to do, Elder. Yo, it's a nice day out here. hey, the son, you late. But the Most High showed me today. Hey, he's gonna leave it there. Are you patient? Am I patient? Proverbs 15:8. Proverbs 15:8. Am I patient? When people say, hey, I'm gonna come on and get it and they MIA, that's their loss. They're gonna have to answer to the Most High. You understand that? When you give someone a vow and say you're going to do something, if I say I'm going to come on and I'm going to help support you, and yet you don't do that, do you understand? I really don't think that people really understand it. It's a vow, a contract that you broke. Proverbs 15:18. Hot tempers cause arguments. We're back to it. But patience brings shalom. Patience brings peace. Right? Just share. Usually patience brings peace. You think we're at war right now because most of that's impatient, most of that's greed. We understand that's greed. But patience brings what? It brings the peace. Romans chapter 5, verse 22. Romans 5. I'm just giving you the scriptures that come back on it. Write them down. Go back, let's review them, let's look at them. And I believe that we need to be really, every script that we get, we need to just go back and review that scripture all week long. All week, and just keep putting it into us. Because we always want to eat at every table, okay? And I'm not saying that. I encourage everybody, go get the food out there. It's great teachers, it's great mores, great rabbis, great teachers that are out there, right? People that are teaching about the manuscripts, right? But when we overload ourselves, and me and Prophet Jason, we can talk, right? Because it looks like it's just us three right here. We have talked about that where we have gotten on overload, and we're so overloaded we can't. The stimuli, the scroll was just too much for us, and we become what? We don't study yet what we're supposed to be learning. Like, so this week should be a week of patience. Today's lesson is going to go forth, a week of patience. And we should all make a vow and send each other a scripture every single day this week on patience. Right? Because it allows us to go back into the word. We want to get filled on Shabbat and forget everything on Saturday or everything on Sabbath that God taught us. Romans 5:22. Right? We're patient when you go to a restaurant to get your food, right? I know sometimes you get up and walk out, but most of the time you don't. Oh, I don't think there's a Romans 5:22. Slakia, I apologize, y'all, for that. Romans, maybe it's 6. Maybe Romans 5:2. He has brought us in the faith into this experience of Yah's grace in which we now live. So now we boast of the hope we have in sharing Yah's glory. We also boast of our troubles because we know that trouble produces endurance. Trouble is the patience. Yes, that's it. That we go through. That's going to what? It's going to produce something. Something good is going to come out somewhere down the line. Think about all our ancestors that struggled and things they went through. It's like, you know, even sometimes losing loved ones, something manifests and it comes out of that. We have to just ask Yah to show it to us. We got to have patience to show it to us, not sit here and have a pity party about it. Romans 12:12. This is it, y'all. Let your hope keep you joyful. And what he say, like Job, like the brother earlier, be patient in all of your troubles and pray at all times. Here, he didn't just say be patient. There's some people that are patient and they're like, yo, listen, remember the song, I'm gonna wait on the Lord. And they're still waiting because they never prayed and asked the Most High to what? Show them how to get out. Show them how to walk. Show them how to move forward. Show them how to get out of what? The bond that they're in. It says, Share your blessings with your needy fellows, right? And open up your homes. Be patient with what the Most High, has in store for us. Are we patient? Psalms 37. We want what we want when we want it, and we want it yesterday. And there used to be that commercial. I want what I want. I want it right now. I think it was like either it was a car commercial or insurance. And it used to make me laugh because it made me think about, man, you know what? That sounds just like us. Psalms 37, Division 37. Be patient and wait for Yahweh. Wait for Yah, the Lord, to act. It says, don't be worried about those who prosper. Don't be worried about those who prosper. Don't be worried. He's telling you, have the patience. Or those who succeed in their evil plans. Don't give in to worry or anger. We're back to that. It only leads to what? Trouble. There's a time for everything. But is there a time? See, that's why the Bible says, be angry but sin not. See, there's a time, right? Where is it? Let's go to Ecclesiastes. There's a time. Joshua, Judges, Samuel, 2 Samuel, Chronicles, Job, Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes. Sorry, y'all, my brain went. I don't know why. Sometimes you get a brain freeze like that. Ecclesiastes, we're talking about patience. Ecclesiastes 7 and 8, right? We want to say we exhibit the patience of the Most High. We want to say that we are the saints of the world, but yet we get angered so easily. Yet we let the anger, the sun go down on our wrath. Then we wonder why we dream and have nightmares, and we wake up and we're angry at the next day. Now that goes into day 2, day 3, day 4, and now we're just having all type of things that are making us upset and anger. And what? It's the snowball effect, right? Ecclesiastes 7 and 8. It says the end of something. Check this out. I know this is hard. The end of something is better than its beginning. That's a hard scripture to swallow when sometimes you think about it, and we don't have time to get into it. But the end of something, the end of your pity party, the end, when we look at it, the end of your anger, the end of your resentment, the end of this is finally up. Think about it. When you're going through something that's so rough and so hard, doesn't it feel good, Mom, just to say, man, I'm healed? It feels great. The end of something, right? Yah is showing us, but we got to be patient while we go through that. We got to understand. Last one, James 5 and 7. For those who coming in late, please come back, go back, rewind, catch the replay. Hopefully it plays for you. James 5 and 7. Be patient then, my friends, until Yah comes. It says, see how patient farmers are as they wait for their land to produce crops. That's one thing I had to learn about, and I like it, about being out in the garden. It produces the patience. Man, I want figs. I want my fig tree to bloom, but I got to have patience. Mom, I got to wait until August, late August, September. Then I got to have patience when the giant-sized European hornets come around and they're eating on my figs, and I'm trying to reach in there and grab a fig. I got to be careful. I put a glove on, and I got to be patient to reach up there and grab and make sure they're not on there. Instead of just grabbing and now you're being stung. Patience. Yes, Mom. How far we have came. How far we're coming. Right? Being patient. The Bible gives us so many different examples of being patient. They were patient when they were what? When Aziel or Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, or Aziel, Hananiah, when the 3 Hebrew boys or the 3 Hebrew men were in the fire. 4, if you add Yeshua or the Malachi and the lock that was in there, patient. They didn't just say, we still live and knock on the door. No, they sat there until Nebuchadnezzar said, oh, I got a word that somebody's in there. They just sat there. Patience. When Abraham was told, hey, it's time to go ahead and leave your land. When he said, patience, it's time for you to, back to Abraham, Isaac, to sacrifice your son to Jacob. Right? Isaac. Patience. Our patience should be just like the Most High Yah's patience. Let's pray. Ask for him to give us the gift of patience. All right, y'all. Told y'all that was going to be quick. So I hope the word helps us during Omer, during the days of testing. I hope you become patient. Because if you become patient, your family becomes patient. Your life becomes patient. There's nothing wrong with moving slow. There's nothing wrong with moving because it allows you to stop and to assess things. Right? So stay patient. May the Most High Yah allow his word to go forth. And I pray that patience comes in you. It helps guard you. It keeps you protected. It becomes even a weapon for you if needed. So shalom, y'all. Patience.